Hi, welcome to my sewing room. So close. Hello, welcome to my sewing room on a glorious Friday afternoon.
It is glorious.
It is glorious. It's sunny outside. It was light out when I drove my kids to school today.
It's pretty fabulous Friday.
Yes. I'm Leah.
I'm Chelsea.
Welcome to my sewing room. We are here for a day of fun. We talked yesterday about a party not being over.
Because it's never over.
No.
The HoopSisters Party.
HoopSisters Party. So HoopSisters, if you haven't heard of HoopSisters before, HoopSisters is an embroidery design company who makes some amazing embroidery designs.
Like the one behind us.
So this is a design called Navigator that we ran as a class last year.
It's missing a couple rows, but it's a work in progress.
The rows are assembled. They're just not sewn together yet. So this is my Navigator, which is wildly different from the pattern cover.
And it has a lot more black.
It's all black. A little bit of black. There's actually very little black thread.
Yes.
But mostly all black fabrics.
Yep.
Black-ish fabrics. But this was one of HoopSisters' bigger projects. So it was their shop exclusive quilt for 2023. Still available.
Yep.
And you could still take our recorded class if you want to. Just reach out. And you can make your own Navigator in whatever fabulous colors you want. But if this looks a little daunting, we have a fabulous other option for you.
Yes, we do.
So if Navigator looks like you're not ready to jump into that because it's many pieces and it's maybe your first time doing a HoopSisters kind of embroidery.
Just a few hours.
Just a few hours. Just a few. We have a great alternate option for you. And that is called Masterclass.
Oh, it is fabulous.
So we didn't. Here, we can share that on the web. Share a photo of Masterclass. Because that would be the place to start for what we're demoing today. So if I go screen.
Look at you go.
Over on our website,
Bigger.
you can look at Masterclass, which is technically Masterclass 102. Somebody asked about that earlier, and HoopSisters did run a Masterclass 101 last year, but this is a new and improved version.
And it's cute.
So Masterclass 102 is a virtual class from HoopSisters on the basics of HoopSisters designs.
So you're learning from the pros.
Yes.
The people who created these designs.
Yes.
Are the ones teaching you how to use it.
Yes.
Which is excellent.
And right now, for sure today, we have a very cool promo where there's a free bonus with Masterclass. So Masterclass is the quilt or the table runner, whichever layout you want to make. And what we're going to be walking you through today is how to make the bonus item.
Which is pretty cute. We may have stitched it in black and rainbow.
With no particular reason other than I'm very much in a black and rainbow mood today.
And I also like rainbow, so we didn't completely finish it yet, but this should be in this end. Here we go.
Yes.
And it's a bookmark that fits on a notebook, and then you can stick a pen in it.
Right?
We have a notebook here. Maybe a top camera?
Nope, because top camera went kaboom.
I see that.
Because I was prepping for the demo we're actually going to do.
There we go. Top.
Yep.
Maybe a zoom in on that. There we go.
Yep.
So we have created our lovely design. You can see all that beautiful quilting.
And we did variegated thread on this because variegated thread's fun.
Variegated thread is so much fun. I might have stuffed that in too deep. There we go. Oops. And because we didn't sew that in. And of course it's not going to hang on. So we'll just hold that for a sec. And then
but I hate ending up places with a notebook and no pen. It honestly happened to me like 2 nights at a meeting I was at. So I probably need one of these.
Our friend Anne is asking, are the flower petals fabric or just stitching? So on here, it's just stitching. Maybe I could show it closer up on the close up.
Yeah. But great news. We're going to walk you through making this today. Yeah.
So just stitching. This might be very close up. And there's our background there. Stitch lovely. All right.
So should we get going on this right away?
Oh, yeah. I am ready to rumble.
Okay. So first up, all HoopSisters projects are made on a fabulous product called Battleizer, which is half batting, half stabilizer, all married into one sweet product to hoop.
Which is why it's Battleizer.
Battleizer.
And not stabilizer or batting.
Right?
Because it is everything.
So I already have that hooped and ready to go.
Fabulous.
On the tabletopper, there's applique in the tabletoppers for Masterclass. So applique, some stitch and flip, all the good things. Your camera is not looking at what we needed to look at. Your close-up cat. It was looking right there. Oh, is that where you want it? Sure. Okay.
We gotta move the design.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, one fabulous thing about using Battleizer is we could use one chunk and then we're going to kind of do a whole bunch of designs. As many as we can on the one chunk. But in order to make the best use of our Battleizer, I'm going to move my design as far left as I can in my hoop. Basically until it tells me, no, Chelsea, I can't go any further.
Nice.
That's where I stop.
Yeah.
And in the instructions, it does suggest using wash away thread as our first step. That was the first step, right?
Yeah, wash away thread in your needle and regular bobbin thread in your bobbin.
Yeah, so I have a pre-wound in my bobbin, and you'll see how Anne set her wash away thread up. She actually has a bobbin buddy in here to keep her wash away thread, her wash away bobbin thread with her wash away thread. And she's actually written on this bobbin with a marker. I would not recommend using nail polish to mark this. I would recommend using marker if you're ever using wash away bobbins.
Wash away thread anywhere. You do want to keep track of it because it looks like white thread.
It
does not behave like white thread when it gets wet.
It feels like white thread too. All right, should I move our camera now?
We'll swap back over this direction. So we're just going to walk you through making this whole thing. If you want this design, you do need to sign yourself up for Masterclass. And then you'll get this design.
All right. Oh, I didn't hit edit in. And it wants a larger embroidery frame. I probably moved too far over here.
Probably.
We'll just move back again. There we go. All right. And we're good to go.
So the first step here we're making is a pocket. The pocket does need to be fully assembled when you go to make the back part of the bookmark pocket holder. So first step is an outline that's going to stitch just in wash away thread so you know where to place your first piece of fabric. What I like about this little bookmark and pen holder for my notebooks is it doesn't take very big pieces of fabric, so I could make this out of scraps.
Yep. Very little pieces. Like, that's not huge. Still wash away, you said?
Yep, still wash away.
You want to know the even better part is with this Battleizer, it actually has quite a nice texture to it. But
It just holds fabric.
I'm not taping down that fabric. Like, you can see it's not.
It
I'm
just
scooching
holds.
away. It's fantastic.
And the nice thing here about this stitch happening with the wash away thread is later on, if this was to show in the outside of your project, you could wash it away or get it wet with a Q-tip and it'll dissolve and disappear for you.
Battleizer's flopping about. And you want to, of course, make sure your Battleizer isn't going to go under your hoop.
Yeah, that would be
You have extra Battleizer hanging off.
So you're going to do a thread change to your actual pretty thread that you want to stitch with. So because we were just using black fabric, we went with a variegated. If you're using a pattern fabric, you'd probably want to match-ish. Match-ish, is that a term?
Matchish, yeah, I think so. So we're using color 9916 from Ice Core. It's really pretty. It's like a rainbow.
I think all the variegateds are really pretty.
Yeah, I haven't seen an ugly variegated, that's for sure.
I've seen variegated threads stitch weird and unpredictably, but sometimes it's just not the right variegation for what you're trying to do. But the thread itself is gorgeous. And it can give a lot of life to your projects.
Oh, it really does. Did you put any variegated in your navigator?
I did not. There was enough going on. On a quilt that should have had like 13 thread colors maybe, tops.
You probably had
I had
40.
like 55.
Oh, I was under. Huh.
Yeah. It got a little out of hand.
A little.
Just a little. I have pages of notes. Keep track of what I did. But it worked, so.
Finding this very satisfying in...
What I love here is how fast this is. And it's all like quilted at the end, which is so cute.
You know, this would make great back to school gifts.
Oh, or teacher gifts for the end of the year?
Teacher gifts for the end of the year while they're walking around greeting.
Yep.
So their pen's always with their notebook. All right, next step.
Is you are placing the back side of your pocket piece right side down.
So in ours, we picked white. And once again, I did not tape.
That's okay.
It's all good. And Leah is getting ready to hoop again, it looks like.
Oh, I'm going to trim that piece out for you.
Oh, are you?
Because you need that piece to carry on.
Perfect.
So.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
All right, while you start trimming, I will load our next design.
So this piece is going to come out of the hoop and get trimmed. And then we'll rehoop the rest of this chunk of battleizer. Because I don't want to waste battleizer. That sounds sad.
It does sound really sad.
I'm actually just going to flip this over for a second and do this from the back side because I can see better where that outline stitch is. So we want to trim all of these layers. So the pocket layer, the battleizer, and everything else to a 1/4 inch past that seam line. And that leaves me with a nice sizable chunk of battleizer to carry on with. And really, if I was going to make a whole bunch of these, I'd make a whole bunch of pockets, like as many as I could get in my hoop. And then I'd do the same thing for the back piece.
I think if you had a 6x10 hoop, you could probably fit 4 or 5 pockets in the one hoop if you turned them.
Oh yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Because they're just under. They're
Yeah.
quite short.
Yeah. So what I'm using today is the trimmer by George. This is a 2.0. And there is actually a 3.0. So if you were to order now, you would get the new updated version.
Yep.
But we've been doing HoopSisters things here at my sewing room for some time. And the last thing we want to do, this white piece is going to fold over, and this seam up here is going to make the top of our pocket. But we don't want to trim and have all that bulk of the extra battleizer in the seam line. We don't need it doubled over. That'd be a little bulky. So what we're going to do to help get rid of all that battleizer is use that trimmer by George. There's a little metal edge here. I'm going to wiggle that up next to those stitches. And that's going to help fold those two pieces of fabric back up out of the way. And then on this side, you won't be able to see any of that fabric sticking through.
Fabulous.
And you'll want a 16mm rotary cutter because this edge is quite thick. And we'll cut just like that all the way around and remove all the battleizer. So that's going to remove the bulk, but leave the fabric because we don't want to trim the fabric right small because then we have no fabric and it might fray. Because that's what fabric will do if unsupported in the long run. So same thing here. That metal edge is going to slide under the first fabric we put down and leaving us just battleizer. I'll come back and trim those other sides to size in a moment. So you can see now, no battleizer in those three sides. Just come back.
That's beautiful, Leah. That looks way better than when I accidentally cut off the wrong chunk earlier. I had an accident when I was trimming. I was not being careful when I was lifting up my layers, and I hacked off a corner. Would recommend being more careful than I was.
Okay. Are you hooped and ready for the next piece? Because I'm just going to go around and trim this out the rest of the way.
Yep, I'm hooped and ready.
Okay. So Chelsea's going to start on the second piece while I trim the pocket.
So I currently have wash away thread in my needle and regular bobbin thread in my bobbin, and I'm just going to stitch our first step. And now I'm going to lay down my piece of fabric, and this is still with wash away thread. So this piece of fabric I have sitting right side up, and we are just going to let it stitch that down. Oop, that jumped. Got me.
You're so brave, Chelsea.
I jump when it goes. Ding. Gets me sometimes, you know. Actually, it looks like I'm having a couple skipped stitches, so I
Your
might
foot is
have
high from what we were doing earlier.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna reduce that, and then we'll raise it back up again. And maybe that'll help us out there. It's okay if this one has a couple skipped stitches on this part.
It is
I'm not
wash away
too
thread at
worried.
the end, so it
Yeah.
does get stitched more solidly with real thread later on.
Yeah, but I
Um,
might as well fix the trouble we're having before we switch to our pretty thread,
It's true.
which is now.
And that's also stitched a placement line for where we're going to line the pocket that we made up in a moment.
And so that was all of the wash away thread that I need for this project. So I'm going to put that away after I get this going.
And I like to keep my wash away thread in a Ziploc bag.
Oh yeah, keep it from getting brittle.
Or gummy, depending if it's humid where you live or not.
Yes, if you live near the coast,
Yeah.
it could get pretty gummy.
If you live in Alberta, it's just gonna get brittle.
It'll
That's
just get brittle
interesting.
here. But if you're doing a Hoop Sisters project, you might go through quite a bit and might not find that happens.
It's true.
Depending on Navigator, how much water soluble thread do you think you might have gone through?
I couldn't tell you because I had some at home already. Like I had a couple partial spools at home when I started. And I repurchased along the way, but I used wash away thread in other places too. So, couldn't tell you.
Fair.
Yeah.
I cast you that so you can show the next step.
Okay.
Figured it's easier to do that over there than on the bed and machine.
Yeah, totally. This little meander's cute.
It is
And it's
very
quick.
cute.
I like it.
I also love how much that fun rainbow thread flops on here.
Rainbow thread on black or white fabric just brings me joy.
It's just the best. I also just love watching it stitch, so there's that.
Where Shannon lives, it gets humid and then it gets cold and dry. I'm sure that does
Oh.
a number on wash away thread at your house.
So I would definitely recommend putting it in a bag.
Yep.
Or maybe even a Ziploc container, like
Something that's gonna seal.
something sealable,
Yes.
protected. Because half the year you'll have gummy thread, and the other half you'll have brittle thread.
And you like to know what you're getting into when you sit down to sew.
Yeah. It reduces a lot of troubleshooting you have to do.
It's true.
All right.
So we're gonna pull that off the machine for just a second. Anytime we're adding things to a hoop, better to do that flat on a table than kind of on the bed of your machine up in the air. This pocket piece is now all trimmed. So trimmed all the way around, and I've just finger pressed that top seam, and I'm using a Solan glue to hold this pocket all together. No, I'm just gonna glue the back piece on.
Oh, that's fair.
Because then I know that's all gonna move together.
I always love a little bit of glue stick.
Then I'm not fighting with as many pieces when I go to lay this down. You might not be able to see it because it is wash away thread on white fabric, but there's a line that's stitched when we did our wash away thread.
Ah, yes.
And that is where our pocket needs to line up. And you can see that the wash away thread lines are going to match top to bottom. And to avoid having this go completely sideways, embroidery tape is your best friend.
Oh, it is.
Because we have to stitch up and over that pocket lip, and our presser foot doesn't like doing that.
First time we made this, we might have forgotten the tape and learned the hard way.
I don't like learning things the hard way. So take
No.
it from us. Tape is your best friend right now.
There is never too much tape unless you've made like many layers.
Yeah, we could tape the bottom too there if we wanted.
Do you want to?
Because it's not on the battleizer anymore.
Oh yeah. Let's give it a little bit of tape.
Like I said, hard to go wrong with too much tape.
We're making good choices today. When I say today, I mean this afternoon. Alrighty, so that next stitch is just going to tack our friend down, and I am going to go in and remember to do this part, which is raising my presser foot up. So on my Brother 3700D, I am moving that to a 3mm foot height.
And that's in the user settings.
And we found that worked pretty good for us earlier. Just not when we were stitching wash away thread, because we were getting some skip stitches.
But we were also on thinner fabric at that point.
We sure were. So it looks like it's actually stitching very lovely right now. Look how nicely you lined that up, Leah. That's pretty good. Mine was much more crooked.
I had lines to follow.
You did a really good job, Leah. All right.
I get to stay for another day. We're going to
Yes, you
remove
do.
that top piece of tape so the pocket is openable.
And when I remove tape, I like to go from below the stitches and up. Does that make sense? Not ripping from where the stitches are starting and ending.
Yeah.
Because then I have less likelihood to rip those stitches right out. And if you're making a bunch of these, you could just,
Save that tape
Tape.
for a second.
because you never know, you might need it. Like right now.
True.
So I'm just going to stick that down. I'm just going to grab our tape we saved. Just going to stick a couple pieces down. And I am pushing a little bit on my hoop, but that's because the bed on my machine is supporting my project. If your machine is not supporting your project, don't be pushing on it. Yep. Very gentle. Alright, that looks pretty good. 3 rando pieces of tape. I'm ready for what's next. And this is a triple stitch here. It's making it nice and secure. Fabulous. And we made it over that lump. So
Yeah.
we're good. Now it's easy stitching from here.
Yeah.
Nice elastic.
I know. I'm going to hold it on your notebook for you.
Nice.
The directions with the pattern do include how to calculate what size of elastic you need for the final step.
Yep. Because not all notebooks are the same size.
No.
And because we're making this ourselves, we can fully customize what we're making,
Right.
which is excellent.
So the pen holder itself won't change size, but the elastic on it will suit whatever you want to do this.
Broken needle.
Well, that is always
That was fun.
an exciting moment.
Okay, where's the other chunk of my needle? I have to go needle diving. Sounds. Just gonna do a quick little surgery on our project.
Not entirely sure what just happened. Sometimes it's really obvious as to what caused a broken needle, but today that needle was just done with being a needle.
I think that needle is just ready for a nap. I don't see a piece in here yet. So I'm gonna pack her back up.
Yep.
So when you do break a needle, it is good to always find where all your little pieces went, because you don't want them inside your machine.
Causing mayhem.
Yeah, causing a ruckus or a mayhem, having a party. Ooh, that's all tight. We almost made it through, Leah.
Sometimes things happen. Great news. This just gives us a chance to show you how to recover if something does go wrong.
Don't drop the needle in your lap.
That
It's a
sounds
little bit pointy.
that sounds reasonable. Okay.
Just gonna lower my foot for a second here so I can get my root in. Finger tight. And I'm going to raise my foot, and because we don't know what caused that, I am going to find where the other end of my thread is. I don't have a thread down. Cool. Yep.
And return.
And thread. Because you don't know if you got hung up somewhere, and that's why your needle broke. So just start from square one. Round two. Much better. And I'm just going to go in my settings. Leah, do you mind?
We'll just swap over here for a second. We're just going to move the screen around
Okay.
so you can see the screen. Most of the time when something goes sideways, like running out of bobbin thread or breaking a needle, usually you need to back up just a little bit so you don't have a hole. Especially in something like this particular stitch that is a final hold it together stitch.
I'm really curious what happened.
Me too.
We'll see if it happens. All right, so I'm just going to hit my -10 button until I get close there, because I know it didn't really run that far between snapping. Looks pretty good. All right, ready?
Yep.
Do you think we should slow it down a bit at all, Leah, just in case?
I think
Or should it be
I think
okay?
we'll be okay because it's gonna start slower and then we could almost drop the foot just a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if that was part of it.
Like we needed the height to get over.
Yeah, we
The lump,
did. So
but-
let's reduce it because maybe it's causing a little bit too much flex. What do you think? Like a 2.5 or a 2?
Let's go to 2. Because just looking at it a second ago, it was quite high.
Oh, that looks nice.
So do you want the foot, like on brother machines like this, where it's a stationary height embroidery foot, you want it low enough that it's holding the fabric down.
Yes,
Because otherwise weird things happen.
that looks really pretty though.
I like it.
Well, that was fun. Using a magnet around the area on my machine bed just as a check.
To find those broken needle bits, good call.
And no more broken needles. Fabulous. And that is all of our embroidery that we needed to do. That was fast. Even with a little
Broken needle
error.
in recovery.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Yeah. So this is going to pull out of the hoop. And once more, we're going to get in there with the trimmer by George. 2.0 or 3.0, whichever one you have. If you don't have one yet, you'll be getting a 3.0 when you order. And we have a Hoop Sisters Facebook party going on right now.
We sure do.
And we have an order deadline for that party of February 29th.
Yeah, because otherwise it's going to be March.
Right? Which, like, why? Why is it almost March already? So lifting up both the white fabric and the black.
And this is at the point where I nipped off my corner, so Leah's
So you do
much
want to make
more
sure you do
careful.
want to make sure you don't have like show through of your fabric under there.
Yeah, you want to make sure you get right under it, because otherwise you'll do a Chelsea.
I've trimmed a fair number of Hoop Sisters blocks now.
If you were in the Hoop Sisters group today, in the Hoop Sisters Party, there's a link in the comments, or there will be a link in the comments on our Facebook video here, and a link in the description on our YouTube. If you didn't see the video on how to trim, Hoop Sisters posted an excellent video in our party today. I definitely watched it earlier because it's not my area of, I know everything about it yet. Still learning.
Well, everybody starts somewhere.
Yes.
What I really like is you could start with some of these small projects like Masterclass or some of the three panel, like 3-section kind of wall hanging size things.
Yeah, and then you get all these skills under your belt, and then you're ready to rumble.
Trim that. I'm gonna trim just a little bit wider than a quarter. I usually like turning things better with a little more to hold on to. And there is markings on the trim by George when you flip it up and over. And this actually has a hole at either end, so you can turn it either direction.
That's it. I would go for the larger hole, though. One of them is definitely smaller than the other.
Yes,
by a lot.
The top one's bigger.
I would not recommend trying to turn from the small hole.
Yeah.
Because it was, it would be tricky.
Big hole, little hole. Just wide enough for your elastic.
Yep.
So, Chelsea, are you switching that machine over to sewing mode?
Would you like me to?
Or we could just talk about where it's going next.
I thought we were just going to chat about that.
Okay.
Because we have our pre-sewn sample that has gone missing. This sample.
So the way you're going to finish this project up, first you're going to get this turned so it looks like this.
Yep.
And then in the instructions that you'll get with the files, there's directions of how big to cut your elastic based on your notebook size. You have to do a tiny, tiny little bit of math.
It's very easy math. We did it while we were only half paying attention to it, and we did it right. So
Yep.
it's nice and easy math.
Yeah. I think I can get in there and turn that corner the way I want to turn that corner.
Oh yeah?
I think so.
Your turning isn't fully on. There you go.
I know, but I can't hold my hands any closer or any further away from me and still have control of what I'm doing.
We need close hands.
So that corner is turned, just not pulled through.
So the method Leah's using for turning her corners with less bulk, we affectionately named Anne's corners. She does this fabulous turning method. You might see it in quite a few of our videos.
So the thumbnail of my non-dominant hand is inside where I want to turn the corner. And I'm folding that fabric on the outside back on itself to make a nice,
Bless you.
a nice 90-degree corner. And I'm going to transfer that nicely folded 90-degree corner from my thumbnail to my fingernail.
And then you don't get those smushy bits.
Yeah, we don't want smushy corners. We like nice square corners.
I definitely did this one with smushy corners.
Why?
And I would recommend not doing the smushy corners.
We can recover from smushy corners,
We can.
but you're not going to shove a chopstick in there. It's not the way to do it.
I do have a stiletto, if you would like.
I would like a stiletto.
Or a clover awl.
Yes, that's the straight awl from Clover.
It is.
Also doubles as a stiletto.
Yep. This one's very lovely because it has a nice big handle. So it makes it easy to hold.
Look at that pocket.
Wow, you did not turn that as difficultly as I did.
That's because I used Dan's corners.
This is not wrong.
So if those corners are still a little rounded, instead of getting in there and just pushing all that bulk into the corner, making lumpy corners, if you go and lift the corner, lift the seam with an awl or a stiletto.
Just a little jibby jab with that
Yeah.
awl.
Sometimes you can lift that seam allowance to a really nice corner. It kind of depends how bulky everything is and how many layers you've got going on.
Yeah, definitely depends on how much you put in there.
Yeah. And then I've got two corners up here. I didn't do ends corners on these. The angle was just too awkward in the
Oh
top.
yeah, that would be very tough.
So this one here, I'm just gonna pull the corner out.
Well, since it's nice and close to that large hole, you could stick the awl in the other end and kind of smooth out those seam allowances after.
I could, yeah.
It's looking fabulous.
Thanks. And then because I left that wide, it's also going to be easier to give that a press.
That looks lovely, Leah. And now we have two matching key or
They're almost matching.
they're pen holders.
Almost matching. So we've left a hole in the bottom there. So your first piece of elastic is going to get attached here.
Yep.
You'll sew that closed. And the second end of your elastic will get sewn in up here.
Fabulous.
And you can do a decorative, I would just do a little straight stitch on your machine. You could hand sew that in.
Totally good.
I held it in with glue before I took it to the sewing machine.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And then if you've got something like the leveling foot on the Brother machines, the J leveling
J-foot.
will help you get up over the hump at the beginning of these because they are a little bit bulky at the start. So just like that, and however long we've been live.
I could tell you.
It's all good.
I don't know where the screen went. Someone was moving them.
37 minutes with some talking and some preamble.
Oh,
and
yeah.
a broken needle.
So 37 minutes, broken needle recovery, us chatting, talking about Navigator, Hoop Sisters. We definitely actually didn't start for probably 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So maybe 27 minutes, and that included a broken needle.
So
that's pretty good.
Nice little press afterwards to get it nice and flat. And then you're ready to rock a pen notebook combo.
Cute.
So cute. So we look forward to having you guys join us for Masterclass. Not us. You're joining HoopSisters. But we are here to help you along the way. So even if you need Battleizer or a trimmer by George or HoopSisters scissors or more HoopSisters designs, this is the week to make that happen in your life.
It sure is.
And we'll help you figure out what colors you want to make all those cool projects you're picking.
Fabulous.
Right? So check on over to the Facebook party with Hoop Sisters. There's 2 days of great information posted in there, available forever for you. Till you leave the group. Till you leave the party.
Yeah, if you leave the group, you can't see it anymore.
So just stay in the group and
Just
refer
stay in the
back to it
group.
when you need to. Yep.
Fabulous.
So get yourself signed up. Masterclass to get your Mary's Garden pen holder design included.